welcome to the Playard. I wanted to quickly talk about a plugin for Unreal Engine that came out earlier this month. And I feel got some shade from Epic's amazing announcement of the MetaHumans. This is the Nvidia Deep Learning Super Sampler, or DLSS. It is quite an amazing plugin that I did not get the chance to play around until last week, and a plugin that I know will be part of my workflow for any project I work on. So without wasting any more time, let me go ahead and open up a scene so that you can see what this plugin does and why it's so important. This is a set from our short film Replica, which is a short film we're creating using Unreal Engine. And as you can see, it is a very heavy scene. If you haven't seen the teaser trailer that we released on January, I'll go ahead and put a link on the description below so that you can check out what the final result was. This is pretty much what was rendered. And I know that if I keep it above 8 frames per second, I'll be able to get 4K renders. If I go below that, I'm going to get probably a crash. Now, also worth noting that we are also very fortunate to have the support of Nvidia and Lenovo on this short film. So we are running this on a Nvidia Quadro RTX 8000 and a Lenovo P620. We're running this on really high specs, and even with that, we're getting at this point low frame rates in some of these scenes because we have a lot of geo. We have about 40 something million triangles. A section of this hatch has 40 UDIMs only on one object. So we are pushing the limits. We are, we understand that we're demanding a lot from the hardware. Now, it would be great to be able to continue working on this, and this is where that DLSS plugin comes in. Now, you can get this plugin directly from Epic's marketplace, or at least find a link to it. If you go to the marketplace and search for DLSS, it'll give you the link to the external website for Nvidia where you can download the plugin. And once downloaded, restart Unreal so that you will see a new item in your viewport there, settings, with a few presets. There is a way of controlling this through a blueprint as well that will give you much more control. I haven't done that yet, so I'm only looking at these 4 presets. So here we have one of the shots that has a lot of depth of field. This will be a good indicator of how things are changing as we go through the different presets. So you can see there's a lot of depth of field. Let me go ahead and go here to DLSS settings and choose quality. This is going to maintain as much quality as possible. You probably saw some change back here on the depth of field, but even now we're now at 12 frames per second. So we already have an improvement without much loss of quality. We go to balance, we lose a little more depth of field there. We are now in our high teens, so 14.7 frames per second. So let's go ahead and go to performance. We just lost more depth of field. But we are now at close to 20 frames per second. And if we just go to the last one and go to ultra performance, we now lost most of our depth of field, at least on the mid ground, but we still have the foreground one. But we are now at a 20 something frames per second. So we've gone from 8 to 10 frames per second to 20 to 30 frames per second without doing anything. So we haven't had to do any optimization. We haven't had to change any textures or geometry. And look how fast this viewport is running now. It's pretty amazing. I can now continue working on this set without any worries, without any issues of moving around the viewport. I can change lighting and quickly get the feedback that I'm looking for. And the best thing is that this is a viewport plugin, meaning that once I'm ready to go ahead and render, it's not going to affect the render that comes out of the render queue. That's going to have whatever settings you have applied to it. I feel like I have a renewed life on this scene, and I can now continue working and continue making changes and not have to worry about not being able to move around the set or having to fight constantly the viewport. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them on the comments, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.